There's a pain reliever available without prescription that has 2 pain-killing ingredients, paracetamol and codeine. It's called Solpadeine, delivering relief in an effervescent formula to get to work fast. So now, when pain strikes, hit back with double-action Solpadeine. Solpadeine, power to hit pain where it hurts.
Almost everything the world admires has been copied at some time or other. Stones that have deceived jewelers. Banknotes that have confused banks.
At 350,000.
Even paintings that have fooled the art world. In our opinion, however, there's one original that is yet to be equaled. Special Brew from Carlsberg.
Skittles, taste the rainbow, what's the flavor? Strawberry, orange, lemon and lime flavor. Colorful, crispy shells. Skittles, chewy in the middle. Skittles, taste the rainbow, what's the flavor?
Lucozade now comes in a rather convenient plastic pack.
When I fall in love,
Wall's Viennetta.
it will be
Pure white ice cream, tantalizingly interleaved with crisp, dark, chocolatey layers. Wall's Viennetta from Sweet Trolley. Desserts you can't help falling in love with.
At McDonald's, we've got time for you. You can show them a thing or two. You're a winning team, the world is at your feet. Come on in and take a seat, and meet a friend there too. At McDonald's, we've got time for you.
Did you know that I'm the key to hiring a car in thousands of places around the world, Money?
You've certainly got about, Access.
Access, your flexible friend.
With ready-built units and fully serviced sites, more companies are moving our way. Call Eileen Bilton in Warrington Runcorn, the nation's most central location.
Jack certainly isn't a dull boy. He knows good value when he sees it, and he knows he'll be on to a winner when he takes home the big Andrex roll. Because as well as being soft, it's thick, wide and incredibly long, which means it lasts and lasts. So, in the long run, he's likely to make a giant saving. Andrex, the legendary toilet tissue.
Niralex expectorant soothes the irritating symptoms of a chesty cough without causing drowsiness, and it's made by Boots. What a relief.
A Standard Life policy can help you repay your mortgage, and you have the prospect of a handsome additional cash sum. Everybody needs the peace of mind that comes when Standard Life looks after your money and your future. Standard Life, for all of your life.
Speedbird Concorde 1, start approved, clear to Kennedy, Compton 1, Foxtrot departure. Speedbird Concorde 1, clear to Kennedy, Compton 1.
This is a take-off announcement for the sale of shares in British Airways. For a prospectus and application form, see the newspapers.
28 left, the wind is 220 degrees, 15. Speedbird Concorde 1, clear to takeoff.
Remember, application forms must be received by 10 a.m. on February the 6th.
Carl Haldenberg spends his time cruising the Mediterranean, pondering where and with whom to dine. Collecting his guest is not a problem, as Carl carries with him a new Audi 80. Why an Audi 80, you might ask? Is it because it's available with four-wheel drive and ABS? Or is it because 1980 was the year Carl made his first million? No, he chose a new Audi 80 because it's one of the few cars in the world made from fully galvanized steel. So, if Carl's skipper should get a little careless, rust won't be Carl's problem. Of course, getting his guest home again could be. Vorsprung durch Technik, as they say in Monte Carlo, Saint-Tropez, Antibes, Cap
New Apres Apricot Wash Cream removes makeup simply and thoroughly like a cream, but quite unlike cream, a little water washes it clean away, leaving your face beautifully cleansed and naturally soft. Apres Apricot Wash Cream cleanses like a cream, washes off with water.
She's wearing Harmony hairspray. Very unlikely. She is. Harmony hairspray. Nonsense. Harmony hairspray. Hold your hair so naturally, only you can tell.
Do the shake and back and put the freshness back. Do the shake and back and put the freshness back.
Put the freshness back in your carpet with Glade Shake and Vac.
When you're expecting or nursing a baby, you may need the vitamins and minerals supplied by Plurivite M, and they're made by Boots.
Use ordinary HP batteries for an hour each day, and after only about 10 days inside, they're out. Duracell batteries, however, will serve the full term. Over 30 days hard labor. Duracell. No ordinary battery looks like it or lasts like it.
New Sparkle cleans everything your old Sparkle could, but New Sparkle is wax-free, so it even cleans glass without smearing.
In the last 6 years, 72 new hospitals have been built in Britain. Modern private hospitals where doctors, nurses and technicians can perform to the very best of their ability. Hospitals that meet the considerable demands of modern medicine. Hospitals where patients have the best environment to recover. 72 such hospitals in 6 years. That's one a month. And no one has built more of these than Bupa. And we have plans for more. Most people obtain their private medical care through Bupa. Bupa. Britain feels better for it.
Hey, 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 it's a heat wave. Treat your home to a heat wave.
A new wave of 8 gas fires at one low price. Only £137 each, fitted and working.
The heat wave 8.
Now, all you need is £5 down to have one of these controllable fires in your home.
137. The heat wave 8. The price is great at your showroom now. So don't be late. The heat wave 8. It's a heat wave.
Look in the mirror for a great family double. Be in at the start of new Big Cash Bingo and new Scratch Match.
It's free.
Get your card from your newsagent. Win thousands of pounds. Win a new house. Win a new mirror car. Plus, Stick With Soccer album full of action shots. Win a trip to see Gary Lineker. Plus, free packs of superstar stickers. Just cut tokens from the mirror. More action.
Big stickers.
A fabulous family double. Look in the mirror tomorrow.
Stick with the mirror.
The Daily Mirror tomorrow.
I've been eating Flora margarine for as long as I can remember. But then I have my mum to thank for that.
Flora, the margarine for you.
Thomas Cook has cut the brochure price of over 1 million holidays from leading tour operators. So don't just book it, Thomas Cook it.
Do you know what I fancy? A lovely hot bowl of Heinz soup. Yeah, I can smell it. I can see it. I can taste it. Oh, my favourite, Trev. Mulligatawny.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, lovely.
You have just experienced the supernatural.
Brought to you by Heinz.
Well, lad,
All right, Mum.
well, what's it like to have a wage packet then?
Not bad, not bad.
And?
What's on, silly? You know, I went down the job centre before I started.
Oh, yeah. And?
We all got on that job start thing.
Yeah.
Well, it means I get an extra 20 quid a week for the first 6 months.
Woo!
Woo!
What if you don't want it?
I want it.
Job start. For anyone claiming benefit for over a year who takes a full-time job for less than £80 a week.
Here at Swinton, we look hard to find you better, low-cost motor insurance. Examining every detail.
Every detail.
No matter how small, the better cover.
Better cover.
At a price to save you pounds. Swinton. When it comes to motor insurance, we're better equipped to find you a better policy.
On ITV next Tuesday at 8, the Clint Eastwood movie, Any Which Way You Can.
Clyde, scrapped again. Oh, jeez! Hey, right turn, Clyde.
Join Clint and Clyde, Any Which Way You Can, next Tuesday at 8 on ITV.
Since he was a small boy, Paul Marquis wanted to own a Stradivarius. We helped make his dream come true. When Margaret Quick realized she had a budding Olympic champion in the family, we were on hand to help finance her daughter's training. And when Volvo BM built their UK headquarters, we helped finance that too. Mercantile Credit. Whether great or small, we'll help you achieve more. Just phone this number.
Think of all the times people eat in your home. All those dirty dishes, the sticky mugs, the cups, saucers, the knives, the forks, the ketchup-smeared plates, the pots and pans, even the casserole. Isn't it time you got a dishwasher? A whole day's load washed up so easily and so hygienically. Think of the things you could be doing while it washes, rinses and dries to a real sparkle. Dishwasher Electric. Take control.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. The mild cigar.
It's worth singing out for that pizza place. I'm pizzas for pizza, pizza. If you're hungry, dive in, they're a real lifesaver. I'm in pizzas for pizza, pizza.
You'll love the real taste of pizza in Walker's Pizza Pizza.
It's criminal, he's eating them in front of my face. He's in pizzas for pizza, pizza. If I don't get Walker's, I'm a hard-boiled head case.
Walker's Pizza Pizza. You'll love them to bits.
What's in Woman this week? We'll tell you Woman to Woman, My Strange Marriage by Mrs. Elton John. What it's like for kids when mum's a junkie. Your chance to get the complete star beauty treatment. The amazing things the foreign press say about our royals. Woman, the magazine that talks to you, Woman to Woman.
Last time you bought bacon, did you make sure it was Danish? Or did you just take potluck? The only way to make sure you're getting Danish is to eat our words.
If you want the best holiday brochure for Yugoslavia, make sure you got ours. Make sure it's Yugatours.
Suppose you took a plane and made the legroom bigger. And made the seats wider. So you could spread yourself a bit. Then made the aisles wider, so you could go for a stroll. and put some proper tables in, so you had more space to do some work or have a meal. Then make the windows bigger. The result would look a bit like this. Your 7:15 to London. Nicer than your 7:47, we think. Intercity.
During the Six-Day War between Israel and her Arab neighbours, an American spy ship was savagely attacked in international waters. The story of the attack on the Liberty is recalled tonight at 10:30, after which we have a football special replacing Fight Night at 11:30. Now the news. This is Granada.
Mr. Gorbachev says Brezhnev got it all wrong. The Archbishop worries, but Terry Waite may still be talking. The attorney and Mr. Campbell, the government denies any link. In the Philippines, government troops put down a coup. And the chief constable says he'll be more discreet now. Good evening. The Soviet leader, Mr. Gorbachev, has denounced the regime of his predecessor, Leonid Brezhnev. And he said there should be contested elections for party officials. In a speech to senior party officials in Moscow, he said Brezhnev's rule had seen decline and decay across the spectrum of national life, bringing a surge of skepticism and indifference to the Soviet people. It's being said there's been no speech like it in Moscow since Khrushchev denounced Stalin 30 years ago.
Across the Soviet Union, statues and plaques commemorate Brezhnev's 18 years in office. Today, 5 years after his death, the role in Soviet history of the leader once praised as outstanding is being rewritten. A closed Kremlin meeting of the Central Committee today heard Mr. Gorbachev denounce what he called Brezhnev's world of make-believe and decay, a world where the former Soviet leader awarded himself honors and protected friends and officials, now denounced as corrupt, a world where crime, bribes, drugs and alcohol abuse and toadyism flourished, said Mr. Gorbachev. Criticism of Mr. Brezhnev and his personality cult began the moment Mr. Gorbachev took office 2 years ago, but the tone has never been as negative and pointed. Significantly, it came today as Mr. Gorbachev announced his unprecedented ideas to democratize the appointment of senior Communist Party officials at every level, from towns and local districts through the regions and republics to the Central Committee in Moscow itself. From the factory, farm and office party organizations to the regional parties, Mr. Gorbachev made clear today he wants to end the cronyism and corruption of regional leaders like Vladimir Sherbitsky in the Ukraine, one of 2 Brezhnev men still in the Politburo. Instead of voting like robots for a pre-selected candidate, Mr. Gorbachev wants secret ballots for multiple candidates, unheard of since the Russian Revolution.
Gorbachev has said that there should be real elections for party office. In the past, Mr. Brezhnev gave his party apparatus security of tenure, and in return they gave him inefficiency, corruption, a lackadaisical attitude to the job. And look where that got him, is what Mr. Gorbachev is saying. Now, party officials have to justify their positions, and if not, they're out.
There are new fears tonight for the safety of Mr. Terry Waite, still out of sight in Lebanon after several arrests in Germany, which may be connected with the taking of hostages in Beirut. Earlier, the Archbishop of Canterbury said he was greatly concerned, but had no direct evidence that his envoy is himself a hostage.
We have had no direct contact with Terry Waite himself since he moved to meet the captors, but we have had regular and encouraging messages coming through our contacts. That is both from the Druze host protectors and indirectly from the holding group. At this point, we have no direct evidence that Terry Waite is being held against his will.
Mr. Waite's mother was worried too, but said, "I know he'll be all right." In Germany, police have arrested the brother of Muhammad Ali Hamadi, already held as a hijack suspect. One report said the brother had just returned from Beirut. And in a related incident, a Palestinian was shot and 4 others arrested. In Lebanon, the British ambassador went to West Beirut looking for information. Another man was kidnapped, the 11th in a fortnight, this time a Saudi Arabian. And the French evacuated 8 teachers.
For 7 long days now, Beirut watchers have been monitoring the 4 Lebanese radio stations you can pick up here and questioning contacts inside Lebanon about the whereabouts and well-being of Terry Waite. This is the longest time he's ever dropped out of sight. There must be cause for worry. Even Druze Radio, the official voice of the militia organisation supplying his bodyguard, are now not denying that Mr. Waite is missing. The bodyguards did not go with him when he left his hotel last Tuesday, leaving his clothing and belongings in his room. A Beirut newspaper claimed today he had a row with the guards, insisting they leave him alone to pursue his mission. There's one report today that Terry Waite is being held under a sort of house arrest in the southern suburbs of West Beirut, the Shia suburbs, and that 2 factions from the extremist Hezbollah organisation are arguing about just what to do with him. One faction wants to keep him, the other wants to let him go, perhaps with 2 American hostages. That same report claims that certain of the American hostages have been taken to a compound in the southern suburbs and that they're being guarded by 70 militiamen headed by the brother of the man being held by the West Germans, the suspected terrorist. Now, if all this is true and there's no way of checking it, then it's no wonder that the Druze militiamen have been telling Lambeth Palace not to worry. To admit they'd lost their man would be to admit failure. So the reports and the theories abound. The only actual event of the day here, the arrival and departure this morning of 3 American helicopters of a type used before to bring out American hostages. Vernon Mann, News at 10, Cyprus.
In London, the government is increasingly concerned for Mr. Waite's safety.
Now, I've got no more news to give you at all. Obviously, it's something about which we're all very concerned. Our ambassador and defense attaché have been in West Beirut and following up any possible leads for information, but there's no more news to give you, I'm afraid.
Terry Waite arrived in Beirut 15 days ago. His new effort to win the hostages' freedom depended upon Walid Jumblat, who he saw the next day and whose leftist militia is strong enough to command respect with the Islamic fundamentalists who hold the hostages. The timing of Germany's arrest of the alleged TWA hijacker Ali Hamadi was seen as a serious setback for Mr. Waite. From Washington, the Americans immediately demanded Hamadi's extradition to face trial in the United States. By the next day, the first German hostage had been seized. Terry Waite's negotiating environment was worsening. We know that by now Mr. Waite was already talking with Islamic Jihad, the group thought to be behind the TWA hijacking in league with Ali Hamadi. Last Monday, the Archbishop's envoy was evidently nervous and told newsmen that he feared he too might be held as a bargaining counter. On January the 20th, he made his last known journey to a rendezvous at the American University. He shook off his bodyguards and headed for a secret destination. The next day, a second German was kidnapped. Over the next 3 days, 6 more Westerners were taken hostage, 4 of them American citizens. Then, in Kuwait yesterday, amid the security surrounding the Islamic conference, the worst blow to Mr. Waite's negotiating position. The Emir of Kuwait announced a refusal even to discuss the Islamic prisoners that he holds, whose freedom the kidnappers are demanding in exchange for the hostages. The Foreign Office here was at pains today to stress that Britain cannot launch any kind of search or rescue for Terry Waite. No one wants to state categorically that he is tonight a hostage, but the last time he returned from Beirut, he was candid about his fear that he might become one.
You never know whether or not you're going to be taken yourself, and I know from the past there have been debates as to whether or not I should be taken hostage and kept along with the rest.
The government denied in the Commons tonight that the Attorney General Sir Michael Havers had corresponded with the New Statesman journalist Mr. Duncan Campbell about the proposed Zircon spy satellite. The Solicitor General Sir Patrick Mayhew said the attorney had been wronged. His only letter to Mr. Campbell, he said, was to turn down a request for an interview about war emergency legislation. MPs had been debating the Speaker's ruling last week that they shouldn't see Mr. Campbell's film about the Zircon project at the Commons.
Duncan Campbell himself was at the Commons tonight, displaying documents seized by the police, documents which included a letter from a government minister. Mr. Campbell said the document showed the government knew about his proposed series last summer, but acted to stop it much later, not to protect national security, but to save face.
The government has acknowledged they knew about the project and my inquiries about it last summer. This will show the police that they knew in detail exactly what inquiries I was making about the technical project. But the Prime Minister is talking nonsense to say that they didn't know till October. What they knew in October was that the reason for my interest in the project was the deception of Parliament, because I made that very clear to Mr. Robert Sheldon.
Mr. Campbell refused to name the minister who'd written to him, but inside the Commons, Labour MP Tam Diel asked if Mr. Campbell had received any kind of letter from the Attorney General, Sir Michael Havers. The Solicitor General, Sir Patrick Mayhew, said tonight there had been a letter from the attorney, but it had nothing to do with the satellite project. Sir Michael, he said, had been wronged.
What I say in answer to what has been put is this, and I say this on behalf of my right honourable and learned friend, who I consider to have been wronged. No exchange of correspondence ever took place between my right honourable and learned friend on the subject of the programme, save the letter that I have quoted.
But Labour's Robin Cook claimed there was another letter in which a minister did agree to appear in the BBC series. That confusion's still unresolved, but the opposition are now cock-a-hoop over the government's embarrassing retreat at the end of the debate. Under pressure from backbenchers of all sides, the government, a few minutes ago, accepted an amendment from Labour's Tony Benn, which refers the whole question of the right of MPs to view the controversial film to a parliamentary committee. In the meantime, the film remains banned, but that's small consolation for the government tonight. Kevin Dunn, News at 10, Westminster.
In the Philippines, President Cory Aquino has threatened retribution against 400 troops who attempt